In this video, we're going to talk about the relationship between any two notes, which we call an interval. And when we talk about intervals, what we're really talking about is the distance between the two notes, how big the interval is. When I ask you to identify an interval, what I'm really asking is for you to measure the distance between the two notes. This measurement comes in two parts, the magnitude and the quality. The magnitude is usually the easier of the two to figure out. And all you really have to do is figure out how many letters the interval spans. For instance, in this example, from E to A, E is 1, F is 2, G is 3, and A is 4. Magnitude of 4. Note that this is an inclusive measurement. We count both the bottom note and the top note. Because the lines and spaces on a staff are correlated 1-to-1 with the letters of the musical alphabet, we can equivalently just count lines and spaces. For instance, E on the bottom line is 1, the next space is 2, the second line is 3, and the second space is 4. This gives us the same answer of a magnitude 4, or we'll call the interval a fourth. Let's do it again. From D to F, we can count D, E, F, 1, 2, 3, or we can count line, space, line. Either way, we get magnitude 3, and the interval is a third. We do not care whether the notes are sharp, flat, or natural. So long as it's from D to F, it's still a third. Now, all these different thirds you see are different notes, so of course they're going to sound different. There are different kinds of thirds, and we need a way to distinguish them. And that's where quality comes in. Everything we do comes back to scales. Remember that we define the scale as whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, with the syllables do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, and do, regardless of what key we're in. If you add up all those whole and half steps, you will find that there are a total of 12 half steps between low do and high do. So from do to do, it's the same note, 0 half steps. Magnitude 1, and so we call it a unison. Do to re is a second, do to mi is a third, and so on. Do to high do, we're spanning 8 letters, but we don't call it an eighth, we call it an octave. Some of these intervals are special. The unison, the fourth, the fifth, and the octave are for historical reasons called perfect. Perfect intervals have lots of different interesting properties. What you might remember is that they sound very clean, very pure. Here's the unison, the fourth, the fifth, and the octave. There's not a whole lot of color in these intervals. They're very, very pure. The second, third, sixth, and seventh take their name from their scale. Do to re in the major scale is a major second. Do to mi is a major third. Do to la is a major sixth, and do to ti is a major seventh. We can fill in some of our other gaps because we remember the solfege from the minor scale. Remember, we lowered mi, la, and ti to me, le, and te in the natural minor scale. And so do to me is a half step narrower than do to mi. And so instead of the major third, we get a minor third. In the same way, do to le is a minor sixth, do to te is a minor seventh. We can use the same pattern to fill in the minor second with the solfege syllable ra. Don't worry yet about the interval that is 6 half steps. We'll talk about that next. What you should think about is that all of these are based on the key of the bottom note of the interval. We're pretending like the bottom note of the interval is do in order to figure out whether it's a major or minor sixth or something like that. The music that you're reading may or may not be in that key. It's only for the purpose of identifying the interval that you're pretending to be in the key of the bottom note. Let's try an example. Pause the video and see if you can figure out what this interval is. So our first step is to identify the notes. We have an F and a D flat. We can count our magnitude, F, G, A, B, C, D. We don't care that the D is flat because we're just counting letters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, magnitude 6. This is a sixth. The lower note is F, even though we don't have a key signature. So we're probably in C major or A minor. We're going to use the key of F major to determine the quality of this sixth. The key of F has one flat, which is B flat. And so we know that the D in the key of F is natural. This defines the interval from F to D natural as a major sixth. But we have D flat, which is lower than D natural. So the distance from F to D flat is narrower than that of the major sixth. And we know that the interval that is a half step narrower than a major sixth is called a minor sixth. And that's our answer, minor sixth. Let's do another. Pause the video and see if you can figure out what this interval is. Again, we start by identifying our notes. We have A flat and D flat. And again, we don't care that they're flats because we're just counting letters for our magnitude. A, B, C, D. We can count to 4. We have a magnitude 4. This is a fourth. The lower note is A flat. Even though the music is not in the key of A flat, we're going to pretend to be in the key of A flat for the purposes of determining the quality of this fourth. The key of A flat has 4 flats, B, E, A, and D. Therefore, the D that is in the key of A flat is D flat. And that's the note we have. The fourth from Do to Fa in the major scale is called perfect. And so here we have a perfect fourth.